Because we live in a society, in a world where capitalism ensures we are constantly told we are not enough. Have you ever thought, where do ideas come from? Our inner consciousness, our intuition, our inner journey will take us further. The gut feelings will guide you way better than anything else. Spending more time with yourself, you will find your true purpose. There is more action from our mind in silence. Your mind starts coming down. You start becoming happier and peaceful.
And the topic is leveraging intuition to fuel passion in your startups. When we talk about the most active investors and mentors in the region, Kunal's name is likely to come in one of the tops. A successful entrepreneur and co-founder of U-Trade Solutions, Kunal has over a decade experience of scaling businesses from ground to top. He is here to discuss for sure a very important topic, one that impacts the entrepreneurs at all stages, whether they are just starting out or are deep in their journey. Let's give a huge round of applause to Mr. Kunal Nandwani. Kunal, can we please have you on stage?
Hi guys. Good morning. Can I have everyone just raise hand for a minute? I just want to check if you can raise your hand. Thank you. May I just ask one question? How many of you are looking for funding right now? Okay. How many of you want to be happy in life? Okay. Now the people, if you can choose whether you can get funding or you can be happy, who wants to still get funding over happiness? Okay. Who wants to be happy, doesn't care about funding? Okay. I'm trying to bring a different perspective to this. Is inner peace a representation of happiness? If you are peaceful from inside, you are broadly happy, satisfied, right? Imagine you're all searching for inner peace. But where are you searching? Imagine the light in this room. We lose something in this room. We lose a bottle in this room. But because there is darkness in this room, we start searching for it outside because it's bright. Will you find this bottle outside if it's dark in here? Bottle is here, but you are searching outside because light is there. You will not, right? Why not? This is the same thing with inner peace as well. The problem is we are all searching for it outside. It is not outside. It is within you. Every one of you has full access to consciousness, has full access to intuition, has full access to many things within ourselves which we don't really nurture, listen to, or even understand. Now, let me ask this. Do you remember in the last 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, just raise hands, you wanted something, whatever it is, you got it, but now you don't value it. Did you get something in life? Did you buy something? I see some raise of hands at the end. Don't rest of you do Black Friday sales, buy a dress from Myntra, buy a laptop, buy a car, buy a bike, and now it's just not that valuable to you. Why am I the only one? Okay, there are a few other honest ones. Okay, why does that happen? That happens because we live in a society, in a world where capitalism ensures we are constantly told we are not enough. We will be happy if we get this phone. We will be good if we get this dress. We will be satisfied if we get this bike. But that is just hacking our minds. That is just an external perspective to life. We feel that we will be happy if we raise funding. We will be successful if we raise funding. Right? We have this notion. We're trying to demystify it in the other panels. Now, can I ask you something? Did you ever, in the last few years of your life, ever have a moment when you wanted something, you got it, and you still appreciate it? Do you have anything like that? It could be a music device for someone. It could be a cycle for someone. It could be a golf set for someone. It could be swimming for someone. There are things you do which make you truly happy. I'll bring this all back to startups as well. Trust me, it will make sense. The dots will connect. One more point I have to make here. Do you understand your body? Yes. You understand your mind. Do you know what's beyond your mind? Did you ever wonder beyond your mind, is there something? Let me ask you this. How do ideas come to you? How do you get ideas? Can you think about that? 100 people will have the same idea. How do you get that idea? Do we become possessive of our ideas? Do we say it's my idea, I should patent it, nobody should copy it? Right? Have you ever thought, where do ideas come from? Now let me take you back and explain a moment and reintroduce you to someone you should have known, you would have known, you must know for the rest of your life. That is your own inner self. There is a deeper person inside us which is guiding us, which is giving us the intuition, which is our biggest mentor, guiding torch for our life, which we barely listen to. Because we are too stuck with the phones, with the distractions of the world, the more mayas of the world. Right? Let me tell you why this matters. Before that, let me bring you to a point. Have you ever, as a kid growing up, have had time when you felt you lost space and time? Did it ever happen to you while playing cricket, dancing, music, doing anything where you just lose time? You know what happens at that moment? You just connect with some spiritual superpower, universe, divine, God, whatever you want to call it, and you just become the flow of energy. If I do this well, right now I'm just the flow of this energy. This is not my talk, this is not my words, it's something I've learned over time. My mind is trying to process it, but I'm getting it from somewhere else. And that's when the magic happens. I will give you examples. Are you aware? All of you, some people said here earlier, without iPhone, we would not have the smartphone era. Do you agree? 2008, before iPhone, 2007, the world worked very well with Nokia's, Blackberries, Motorola's of the world. You remember that time, right? Would you have half the businesses in this world today without mobile, smartphone-based internet and computing that we get today? Would we have this without Apple inventing iPhone? We would not. Most likely not. Right? We would be stuck to take an analogy, maybe the DOS world of 80s, where nobody used personal computing because DOS was not a good interface. Again, that also was brought about by Apple. Let me tell you something. 1973, Steve Jobs had some enlightenment. Do you know he came to Nainital to visit one of the gurus here? Do you know before that he was done with his life, he was just struggling with the day-to-day problems we all face as well. And he just wanted to give up. He had some glimpse, some awareness of something more deeper, meaningful within himself. And what a company he made after going back. He started Apple after that, when he went back. This is what intuition does for you. When you start listening to your inner self, when you start nurturing your inner guidance, when you start following an inner journey, that is when the true magic can happen and you can move from beyond reason to infinite access of resources of the universe. This is how you move from finite to infinite. You have to go beyond your mind. Otherwise, Apple kind of products are not possible with human minds at all. And there are many examples like this. Have you seen Sachin Tendulkar bat? He never wanted necessarily to be the richest cricketer or the best cricketer. He just wanted to play cricket. And at that moment, he would lose space and time. He would play for hours and hours and hours, sweating, not caring for his body and many other things. But that's when the magic happened. Think about Pandit Ravi Shankar. He would play brilliant music, but there was some connect with some divine which cannot happen just with our bodies and minds. There is a limitation we are all living in. We are accepting it, but not going deeper into ourselves to figure out how to move to the infinite universe energies. This is possible. It happened with Steve Jobs. Look at Apple. Think about it. When he came back to Apple in late 90s, early 2000, they were making computers. He got them into making the phones. Imagine sitting on Apple's board of Apple. The CEO is coming and telling you, we'll make phones, which you've never made before. Smartphones, which have not existed before. Convincing them and giving the world a product, which even after his death about a decade ago, is still the biggest phone. Nobody has been able to compete with our human minds. We are applying our minds. Our minds will not take us that far. Our inner consciousness, our intuition, our inner journey will take us further. another example. Do you know Beatles? Beatles created great music. They have a Beatle temple in Rishikesh. They have a Beatles temple. They also got some enlightenment somewhere. I'm not saying everyone needs to be enlightened. I'm not saying all of you need to give everything up. Do what you're doing, but bring some consciousness to it. Give up your phones. Start spending more times with yourself. Find a way to connect with your inner self. Wherever you find peace, it could be walking in the park, it could be swimming, it could be playing golf, it could be anything. Whatever works for you. Playing sports, music, anything. With that, you will start having gut feelings. The gut feelings will guide you way better than anything else. We are living this world in a rat race. We will keep coming back, keep doing the same things if we stick to our mind and the external world only. Leverage the power of inside you. Spend more time with yourself, give up phones, be alone. How many of you look at your phone 100 times a day? How many of you look at your phone before going to sleep and waking up? This is in front of you. It is hard, I know, but start somewhere. Start giving up notifications on your phone. Give up social media. Start spending more time with yourself. That is the most meaningful thing you can get. And that will hopefully that will get you better stuff in the business too. It is a balance of internal and external life that you need to follow. Somewhere these things, these guiding principles, these spiritual learnings, these anything you want to call it, are going to help you in personal life, in business, in anything else you do.
When we are talking about intuition, the path you suggested, you're looking inwards and trying to figure out things. I am with you there. But sometimes people, they have their fears. They have lalach hota hai, dar hota hai, ego hota hai. There are a lot of things which come in and you feel what you are thinking is right and treat that as your intuition. So how you differentiate that this is something which is beyond you and coming from beyond, or something inside you which is actually making you reach that position?
The point you have raised is actually part of the conversation. So here is my 2 cents. Number one, your ego is there to protect you. The best way to learn whether it's your ego or whether it's something from beyond is quiet observation. Just start observing yourself as a third person. No judgment, no mental interpretations, no analytics. Don't analyze. Just judge yourself. Like I'm standing here, I could start judging myself. I'm driving, I could start judging myself. Slowly, like the layers of onions, they would be peeled one after another, and eventually you would get to your true core and you would understand why you are doing what and how. But do not judge. That is one way you will make a difference between ego and intuition in some sense. But one other point I want to make, which you've raised, 99% problems arguably in our life are because of fear of outcome. We constantly want something. I want to be here and everyone to applaud. You want to be there and get funding. Somebody wants to be here and get whatever. We constantly are result oriented. What if you follow your inner journey, you find a higher purpose of life, and it will be different for everyone. If somebody here raised 5 million and somebody became a unicorn, maybe it's not for me. Like somebody gave an example, there's a guy who's earning 50 lakhs a month and he's happy. You can't beat that. The banana seller story is great. You are happy. What else can beat it? Everyone is different. Spending more time with yourself, you will find your true purpose, your higher purpose. If you find it, you are able to enjoy every moment of your life. You are able to enjoy journey of your process, not the outcome. And accept every outcome equally. Whether it's a success or failure, which is always subjective anyways. Imagine Tendulkar, he's batting good every day. Every day, Pandit Ravi Shankar is playing music. Every day, Steve Jobs was creating new products. He's happy doing that. How does it matter whether the product sells $1 billion or $1 trillion? Fear of outcome is what causes all the anxiety in all of us. The depression problem of the world would go away the moment we take the fear of outcome out. Find your higher purpose, follow it diligently every day, enjoy every moment, and don't worry about the result. Gita also says this very simply. Karam kiye ja, phal ki chinta mat kar. Harder to understand, harder to implement, I get it. World is very hard that ways, but that's what it is eventually, right?
My question is, in business, facts come first and intuition obviously we all have. How do you then differentiate?
Look, facts will keep you going day to day. You are running a business, very successful, large business. You need facts to keep going, to figuring out whatever targets, objectives are. You need to, that's what they say, that you need to follow your dharma. Let's say, I'll give an example. So I say that accept all outcome. People ask me, when you're running a business, somebody is not doing well. How do you accept that outcome? You accept that outcome from your inner self. You don't feel that the person is like this. Don't judge it. Don't hold it against him. No attachments in life. Don't hold anything against anyone. If I don't do well for you, don't hold it. But at the moment, your dharma says you need to scold the guy, you need to fire the guy, you need to do whatever is right for your business. That is your dharma. Your dharma tells you what to do from moment to moment, right? That's one. But don't hold anything against anyone beyond a point. Because beyond a point, we are all one. We don't understand it. We will eventually. We are born into this duality of world, but eventually behind, we are all one. How do we all get same idea? How do we all do similar things? How do we all wear the same clothes? How do we get to the same stage? It is, but coming to your other point, data will keep you going from day to day. But anything bigger, out of the ordinary. What did Steve Jobs do? He looked at the world. He could step out of the box, see the world in the future, come back in it and build something. That astronomical returns you can only get by the power of infinite, not by applying our minds and day to day. We will never build an Apple-like product ever again. Unless somebody is that enlightened and is willing to go that far, willing to truly build it, honestly build it, and then those things would happen. So, intuitions, some people say, I don't get it. Patience, keep going, spend more time with yourself, disconnect from phones. For the lack of a better word, stop going to conferences beyond a point. It's all external world. We are doing enough of that. But somewhere start internalizing. You will get your calling, and everyone is different. What anybody thinks of me is none of my business, and I'm nobody to judge anybody else. If you start living by some of these principles, things will start happening. They started happening from me 3-4 years ago, and I'm super at a different peaceful level in my mind. And I can just share whatever little I'm learning. I'm still a beginner, not an expert in this. In startup, still I know a bit more, but here I don't. I'm still learning, and maybe the decades of my life left, or the probably lifetimes it takes to achieve what one is meant to achieve, hopefully. But I'm just giving you a glimpse and awareness that there is something like that which exists, which you are aware of, but you keep forgetting in the day-to-day Maya world, in the capitalism.
How can I ensure that my gut feelings become stronger and stronger?
Time is the biggest solution. Just observe yourself as a third person. That's the biggest starting point. Somebody asked me, if I want to do a startup, should I read the business books, funding books, how to build a business, blah, blah, blah. I said, no. Go do a startup, you'll learn along the way. In spiritual sense, yes, you can read books. Of course, you can listen to songs, you can listen to sayings. They'll make you more aware, but it's your mind that is becoming aware. What's beyond your mind, the super mind, the divine connect, that will follow by the power of observation. If you're having an intuition and you're not sure whether it's a true intuition or wrong, or just an ego or something else, just a ripple of energy coming from somewhere else, observe it, sit on it for a few days. It will start coming back. It will start making sense. Time solves everything, which is what we are in a hurry for, but time will eventually figure it out.
You mentioned about innate intelligence. Okay, you also answered about gut feelings and the intuitions, and you talked very simply, I mean, in a very, very simple way about the subconscious and the conscious minds. I want to ask you, what method do you actually implement in your life to manifest? I think everybody would like to know.
What I'm practicing is the following. Again, bunch of practical steps. No expectation from anyone, no fear of outcome. Disconnect from phone, spend more time with myself, more silence. There is more action in silence than we can imagine. There is more action from our mind in silence. Your mind starts calming down. You start becoming happier and peaceful. And eventually you start giving up on the rest of the world. That it doesn't matter. I have no problem with anybody doing anything. Everyone is work in progress. All of us are. And it's okay wherever you are, wherever I am. I don't need to compete with you, or it's not a race at all. I have my own journey, I'll follow it. Beyond a point, you start understanding these things when you spend more time in silence and with yourself. Eventually, like I said, the layers of onions will peel down and you would get to the true core of yourself. And that is when the divine connect will start happening. It may take decades or lifetimes. I truly believe that. But start whenever you are ready, whenever you get the calling for it.
Kunal deserves a huge round of applause for taking us through the different perspective of, fueling the passion. And thank you, Kunal, for sharing those words.
you.